A2 Physics, paper code 9702, paper 4, topic is communication, and today we will solve the questions from the year 2019. First question, it is from paper 4, February March 19, part A. State three features of the orbit of a geostationary satellite. For a geostationary satellite, we have studied three conditions. The first condition, satellite orbits the Earth with a period of 24 hours, means the time period of the satellite and that of Earth it is same. Second condition we have studied, satellite orbits in the same direction as the rotation of the Earth. The third condition, the orbit is above the equator. So the same three conditions you have to write here. It rotates in the same direction as that of Earth. Second condition, the speed of the satellite is same as the spin speed of Earth. And the third condition, it rotates above the equator of Earth. Part B. A signal is transmitted from Earth to a geostationary satellite. Initially, the signal has power 3.2 kilowatt. The signal is attenuated by 194 decibel. Calculate the signal power received by the satellite. For attenuation and for power gain, we have same formula, and the formula is given as 10 log P2 over P1, where P2 is the greater power and P1 is the smaller power. Now here it is given the signal is attenuated. Attenuation means power loss. So here we can say on the transmitted side the power is more and on the receiving side the power is less. Now on the transmitted side the power is given 3.2 kilowatt. So here we can say value of P2 is 3.2 kilowatt. And the value of power on the receiving side we have to find out. So here we can say value of P1 we have to calculate, we have to find out. Now we have to substitute the numeric values. Here attenuation is given 194 decibel, P2 is given 3.2 kilowatt, P1 we have to find out. So by solving this equation, we will get the value of power output, that is equal to 1.3 into 10 power minus 16 watts. So power on the receiving side is 1.3 into 10 power minus 16 watts. Part C, suggest one advantage and one disadvantage of the use of geostationary satellite compared with polar orbiting satellites for communication between points on the Earth's surface. In Part A, we have studied three conditions for geostationary satellite. Out of these three conditions, the first condition, it rotates in the same direction as that of Earth, and second condition, the speed of satellite is same as of the spin speed of Earth. Since the satellite moves in the same direction and with the same speed as that of Earth, so here we can say with reference to the Earth, the satellite is stationary, or we can say the position of the satellite with respect to Earth does not change. Since position of the satellite does not change with respect to Earth, so we can say that tracking is not required. So the advantage of the geostationary satellite is tracking is not required. So just you have to write no tracking required. And what is the disadvantage? The geostationary satellite is always above the equator. Since it is above the equator, so it cannot communicate with the signals that are at the poles of the Earth. So here we can write geostationary satellites are in equatorial orbit, so communication at poles might not be possible because the satellite will not be in line of sight. Now next question. Next question is from paper 4 variant 1 of May June 19. Part A. During the transmission of a signal, attenuation occurs and noise is picked up. State what is meant by number 1 attenuation. Attenuation means loss in power. So here just you have to write during transmission loss of power is referred as attenuation. Number 2 noise. Noise is unwanted random signals that is added to the signal that is being transmitted. Part B. By reference to A2, explain the advantage of the transmission of the signal in digital form rather than in analog form. In analog form, when the signal is transmitted, we have unwanted signals that is called noise. Now when we convert this analog signal to digital signal, these noise can be eliminated. So what is the advantage of digital signal? In digital signal, the noise can be eliminated. So just you have to write here, noise can be eliminated from digital signal. Part C, part of an analog signal is shown in figure 4.1. It is figure 4.1. On the x-axis we have time, on the y-axis we have voltage in millivolt. The signal is to be transmitted in digital form. The analog signal is sampled at a frequency of 1 into 10 power 3 Hz using an analog to digital converter. The ADC produces 4-bit number. The time t at which the analog signal is sampled are shown in figure 4.2. It is figure 4.2. Here it is time and here digital number is given. On figure 4.2 number 1, for the digital number at time t is equal to 3 millisecond, underline the least significant bit. At time t is equal to 3 millisecond, the digital number is given 0101. In this binary number, in this 0101, on the extreme right hand side, this digit is called least significant bit. And on the extreme left hand side, this bit is called most significant bit. Here it is asked least significant bit. So least significant bit will be on the extreme right hand side, that is given 1. So here least significant bit will be 1. Number 2, state the digital number corresponding to the sampling times between time t is equal to 4 millisecond and time t is equal to 6 millisecond. Means here at time t is equal to 4 millisecond, 5 millisecond and 6 millisecond, we have to find digital number. Now at time t is equal to 4 millisecond, the number is given 8. Now this 8 we have to divide by 2 to convert this number in digital form. When we will divide this 8 by 2, we will get 4 and the remainder will be 0. Now again this 4 will be divided by 2, we will get 2 and the remainder will be 0. Now this 2 will be divided by this 2 and we will get 1 and again remainder will be 0. Now when we will divide this 1 by 2, it is not divisible because 1 is less than 2. So here 1 will not be divided by 2 and we will get 0. And what is remainder? Remainder is 1. Now how we write binary number? To write binary number, we have to move from bottom towards top. We have to write these remainders from bottom towards the top. Now on the bottom we have 1 and when we move towards the top we have 0, then 0 and again on the top we have 0. So in digital form the number will be 1000. So here at time t is equal to 4 millisecond, the digital number is 100 and 0. Now at time t is equal to 5 millisecond, first we check what is the value of analog signal. At time t is equal to 5 millisecond, the value of analog signal is in between 6 and 7. It is approximately 6.8. But for digital number, for digital form, we have to consider only whole number. So here in 6.8, we will ignore 0.8 and we will convert this 6 to digital form or in digital number. So here we have to divide this 6 by 2 as we have divided here this 8 by 2. And in the same manner, we will solve this one and we will get 0110. So the digital number at time t is equal to 5 millisecond will be 0110. It is 0110. Now at time t is equal to 6 millisecond, at 6 millisecond the analog number is in between 4 and 5. It is approximately 4.6. Now again this 0.6 will be ignored and we will convert this 4 to digital number. This 4 is converted to digital number. When we will convert this 4 to digital number, we will get 0100. So at time t is equal to 6 millisecond, the digital number is 0100. Per D, the transmitted digital signal is converted back to an analog signal using a digital to analog converter. On figure 4.3 shows the variation with time t of the output levels of the DAC for time t is equal to 0 to time t is equal to 4 millisecond. Assume that there is negligible time delay in the transmission line. Now in the given graph, we have to plot the output level from time t is equal to 0 millisecond to time t is equal to 4 millisecond. Now at time t is equal to 0 millisecond, the output voltage is 2 millivolt. At 0 millisecond, it is 2 millivolt. At 1 millisecond, it is 6 millivolt. At 2 millisecond, the value is 4 millivolt. At 3 millisecond, the value is 5 millivolt. It is 4. It is 6. So in the center, it will be 5 millivolt. And at 4 millisecond, what is the output? At 4 millisecond, the output voltage is 8 millivolt. Now we have all the points. Just we have to draw these points on the graph. At 0 millisecond, the output voltage is 2 millivolt. Now at 2 millivolt, we will draw a horizontal line up to 1 millisecond. At 1 millisecond, the voltage is 6 millivolt. So here we will draw a vertical line up to 6 millivolt. Then we will draw a horizontal line up to 2 millisecond. At 2 millisecond, the output voltage is 4 millivolt. So here we will draw a vertical line up to 4 millivolt. And from 2 to 3, we will draw a horizontal line. At 3, the output voltage is 5. Now we will draw a horizontal line up to 4 millisecond, and at 4 millisecond, the output voltage is 8 millivolt. So we will draw a vertical line up to 8 millivolt. Okay, now next question. Next question is from paper 4 variant 2 of May-June 19. Part A, for a signal transmitted along an optic fiber, state what is meant by attenuation. Attenuation means power loss. So here we can write during transmission loss of power is referred as attenuation. Part 2, noise. Noise is unwanted random signals added to the signals that is being transmitted. Part B, the initial section of the transmission line for a signal from a telephone exchange is illustrated in figure 5.1. At the exchange, the input signal to the transmission line has a power of 2.5 into 10 power minus 3 watt. After the signal has traveled a distance of 52 km along the transmission line, the power of the signal is 7.8 into 10 power minus 16 watt. The signal is then amplified. Calculate the attenuation per unit length in decibel per kilometer in the transmission line. Attenuation per unit length is given as 1 over L into 10 log P2 over P1, where this L is the length of the transmission line, this P2 is the greater power, and this P1 is the lesser power. Here we have to find out attenuation per unit length. To find out attenuation per unit length, just we have to substitute the numeric values. Here value of L, value of length, it is given 52 km. So in place of L we can write 52. Now P2 is the greater power. Greater power is given here 2.5 into 10 power minus 3. 2.5 into 10 power minus 3. and lesser power is given 7.8 into 10 power minus 16. So this value 7.8 into 10 power minus 16 will be for P1. Now by solving this one, we will get the attenuation per unit length, that is 2.4 decibel per kilometer. Next part 2, the gain of the amplifier is 115 decibel. Calculate the power of the signal at the output of the amplifier. The signal that we got here, 7.8 into 10 power minus 16, is amplified. So here we have amplification, and in the amplification the same formula we have to use. Gain is equal to, or amplification is equal to 10 log P2 over P1, where P2 is for greater power, this P1 for the lesser power. Since here we have amplification, so the given power will be less and it will be the value of P1. So here we can say value of P1 is given and value of P2 we have to calculate, we have to find out. Now gain is given here 115 decibel. P2 we have to find out. P1 is the power before amplification, that is 7.8 into 10 power minus 16, that is given in the previous part. It is 7.8 into 10 power minus 16. So just by solving this equation, we will get the output power after amplification, that is 2.5 into 10 power minus 4 watts. Now next question. Next question is from paper 4 variant 3. This question is same as in paper 4 variant 1. This question we have already solved. Now next question. Next question is from paper 4 variant 1 of October-November 19. Question number 5, part A. A section of a coaxial cable is shown in figure 5.1. It is coaxial cable. In this coaxial cable, it is copper wire, it is insulation, then copper braid, and over copper braid we have plastic covering. Number 1, suggest two functions of copper braid. In a coaxial cable, this copper braid has two functions. First function, this copper braid is used as a earth wire, and second function, it shields the inner conductor from interference. So here just we have to write the copper braid acts as a return and is earthed. Second function, it shields the inner conductor from interference. Number 2, suggest one application of coaxial cable for the transmission of electrical signal. One of the application of coaxial cable is it is used to connect an aerial to a television receiver. Part B. First part, the constant noise power in a transmission cable is 7.6 microwatt. The minimum acceptable signal to noise ratio is 32 decibel. Calculate the minimum acceptable signal power P minimum in the cable. To calculate the minimum acceptable signal power, we will use the formula gain is equal to 10 log P2 over P1, where P2 for greater power, for P1 for lesser power. Since here we have gain, so here we can say P2 will be output and P1 will be input. Now just we have to substitute the numeric values. Here gain is given 32 decibel. Now here output, minimum acceptable output power we have to find out, means here P2 we have to find out, that is denoted by P minimum. Now input power, it is given here 7.6 microwatt, but here we have to consider the power in watts. That's why we have to multiply this 7.6 microwatt to 10 power minus 6. Now by solving this one, we will get the minimum acceptable output signal power, that is equal to 0.012 watts. Next part, the input power of the signal to the transmission cable is 2.6 watt. The attenuation per unit length of the cable is 6.3 decibel per kilometer. Use your answer in 1 to determine the maximum uninterrupted length of cable along which the signal may be transmitted. Attenuation per unit length is given as 1 over L 10 log P2 over P1, where P2 for greater power, P1 for smaller power. Here it is given attenuation. Attenuation means output power is less and input power is more. Since input power is more, so here input will represent P2 and output will represent P1. Now here we have to substitute the numeric values. Attenuation per unit length is given 6.3. Now here 1 over L. 1 over L means this L is length of the wire that we have to find out. 10 log P2 over P1. This P2 is input. Input is given here 2.6 watt and this P1 is output. P1 output that we have calculated in the previous part, it is 0.012. So P1 will be equal to 0.012 and by solving this one, we will get the length of the wire. It is 3.7 kilometers. Now next question. Next question is from paper 4, variant 2, October-November 19. The variation with time t of the displacement of an amplitude modulated AM wave is shown in figure 6.1. Here we have a modulated signal. The sinusoidal information signal has frequency 10 kHz. Here the information signal is 10 kHz. Determine the frequency of the carrier wave. To find out the frequency of the carrier wave, first we have to check the wavelength of the wave. Here we are looking starting from this one up to this one, we have two complete waves. And for two complete waves, the time taken is given 10 microsecond. So for one wave, the time taken will be 5 microsecond. And time taken for one wave is called time period. So here we can say time period of the carrier wave will be 5 microsecond. Now in 1 microsecond there is 10 power minus 6 second. So here we can say time period will be equal to 5 into 10 power minus 6 second. Now frequency is defined as reciprocal of time period. So f will be equal to 1 over t. And value of t is 5 into 10 power minus 6. So here frequency will be equal to 1 over 5 into 10 power minus 6. And by solving this one we will get 2 into 10 power 5 Hertz. So here frequency of the carrier wave is 2 into 10 power 5 Hertz. Part B. On the axis of figure 6.2, sketch the frequency spectrum of the modulated wave. In the topic of amplitude modulation, we have studied a graph in between frequency and amplitude. Here this long line, it represents frequency of carrier wave. Whereas these two lines, Fc plus Fs and Fc minus Fs, it represents side bands, and in these side bands where this Fs represent the frequency of the information signal. So same graph that is plotted here we have to plot here. This line is for frequency of carrier wave. This Fc plus Fs where Fs is frequency of information signal. And again here we have to draw Fc minus Fs. Here in our calculation, this Fc is equal to 200 kHz. So this value will be 200 kHz. Here Fc plus Fs. Fs is 10 kHz. So this value will be equal to 200 plus 10. It will be 210. And this will be 200 minus 10. It will be 190. So here this frequency will be 200 kHz, this frequency will be 210 kHz and this frequency will be 190 kHz. Okay, it is end of the question. Now next question, it is from paper 4 variant 3 October-November 19. This question is again same as in paper 4 variant 1 of October-November 19 and it is the last question. Okay, we have completed all the questions from the year 2019 for the topic communication.